I think everyone should have a podcast.
Hell no.
Why not?
No.
I can defend this.
Not against me?
I can.
Okay. Should everyone have the right to talk? Yes. Mm-hmm. Should everyone have the right to have their own opinion? Yes. Does it necessarily need to be shared with the masses? And is everyone ready to run and operate a podcast for what it takes? No. I think a lot of people lack consistency, which is what a podcast takes. When people say, I want to make a podcast, my first question is why? Do you have something to say? Do you have a reason? Do you have a purpose? Is this just a hobby? Do you have a business to promote? Are you hoping to use this as a marketing platform to leverage something else? But why?
Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. We find dope people that did dope stuff, and I've been following this young lady for a long time now. You've been killing it. Now, I can't watch your content, really.
I mean, you can. You just don't.
It's not healthy as a married man.
It is.
It's not.
We help marriages all the time. We help couples. We help people, single and married.
Yeah, but so you might be talking about one of your like sexual encounters, right?
Okay.
I can't stop my mind from seeing you in your sexual encounter. And I don't want to think about that.
So you don't watch porn?
No.
No?
What's wrong with me? She said it like, what's wrong with me?
Yes, because you can watch other people. No. That doesn't constitute cheating.
But even that would be different because I don't know those people. And I would probably never meet those people. You know what I mean?
That doesn't make sense. Your mind can wander. That is fine and healthy. And then maybe those things you can introduce to your wife. Like, I think that you're thinking of it. You must have got caught doing some shit.
No.
And now you're like, I can't watch, can't listen, can't do nothing.
No, it's just, I'd rather not.
Yeah, the men are agreeing. It's okay.
No, I never got caught doing it. I never got caught.
Oop.
I never
clean
done
it
anything.
up here. Okay, you never done anything. That's better.
I don't even, like, my wife has never even, okay, say your girl's like, hey, let me use your phone.
Uh-huh.
How many of y'all, you ain't with it? My wife can always use my phone. There's nothing in there. Don't even nobody shoot they shot in my DM.
Really?
Either. It's crazy.
It's because you ain't let them see how much money you making. Because walking into the studio, you got
welcome
some
to
money.
The show. All right, we got the Mandii in the building. Horrible Decisions.
Yes.
You guys are going crazy.
Thank you. And See the Thing Is podcast, Full Court Studios, if you want to keep going.
Yes, okay. So you got Horrible Decisions.
Yes.
See the Thing Is.
Yes. Full Court Studios in Brooklyn.
Full Court Studios. Is that where you record?
Yes. That's my studio.
Where's the one your partner's?
She has WTF Media. We both have our own studios.
Okay. You got your own studios. And so why two shows?
I mean, one is a niche show. So we talk about kinks, sex. I'm entering my 8th year doing that. And so
8 years.
Yeah. And I ain't gonna hold you. It's been a bumpy 8 years. We're in a really good place now. It took a long time to get there. But the older we are now, there are a lot of things about my relationship I don't want to share. I don't want to share about when and who and the sucking and all that. Like
edited.
Oh,
remember
sorry.
We talked about
Bleep all that out then. Hey, y'all gonna have some edits. So I mean, that's what humans do. They get fellatio. But my podcast, we started it when we were like 25 and 26 years old. Mm-hmm. We were just in a different place. Yeah. And so I'm really into pop culture, politics. I'm very opinionated. Right. And because Horrible Decisions is so niche, I wanted the opportunity to talk music, to talk pop culture, to talk everything else. I think that talking sex has stunted people's perception of me. A lot of people don't assume that you can be a hoe and read a book, or be a hoe and run a business, or just have sex and do anything else.
You consider yourself a hoe?
I think that the same way as within the Black community, we took back nigga, we took back hoe. So if you want to call that as a derogatory term of me, whatever. So that's why we even put it in the title and everything like that.
How would you define a hoe?
To me, it's how everyone else describes it. It's not necessarily what I do. I do hoe shit. A woman having sex, not married.
Edited, man.
You asked
Remember
a hoe.
You said you was going to try
Oh, wait, what is editing? You didn't lay down the rules.
No. Just as clean as possible.
So you could say that. You could say.
Try not to.
Okay.
Be yourself, but just try.
Jesus. You can't tell me to be myself and then edit myself. To me, it's someone who may engage in sexual activities with multiple people who they're not in relationships
And you're
with.
cool with that?
Yeah, I go to sex clubs. Like I'm an ethical, non-monogamous person. I don't completely attach myself to someone just because I have a sexual relationship with them. I can differentiate the two. I think that most men, majority of men, 99.8% are not monogamous. They just choose to show up that way with their partners, but I think they're representatives of themselves. I don't think that any human being can find happiness or fulfillment with just one individual in everything. And so I show up, I don't want a representative. I don't want to date who you think I want you to be. I want to accept if you want to have sex with other women, let's talk about what that looks like. I want someone to show up as themselves. And so I think through my show, I've been able to accept who I am. And so when I date and who I show up as is me, and I would want my partner to accept that. But like, I like women, but I want to be with a man. So whatever man I'm with has to accept that this is also a part of me and that's what I want. And so
So would you date a man that also likes men?
I'd be open to it.
Okay.
I think, like, again, I want them to be themselves. I think that that's when you get someone who is down low or even so depressed that they can't live in their truth, that they, take their own lives. Like, that's literally where we're at in the scope of sexuality. And so to me, I think that it turns me on more to know that my partner feels safe with me and that they can be honest with me. So if that's something they were into, I would want to know. But I would be accepting of that.
That's a really good answer, but have you ever dated a man that dated men?
I mean, dating, that word is subjective.
Or have you
I mean, I've dated, I guess, men that were into trans women, and depending on how you want to define that.
Word?
Yeah. Or like they've been with them sexually, like,
yeah.
Doesn't bother me.
And you don't feel no way like if, like, say you never caught like real feelings and you want this person all to yourself?
No. I'm not possessive. When you get in a relationship with me, you got to accept my friends. And I call all my friends my poly partners now. Right. I don't have sex with them.
Y'all poly partners?
I mean, I just talk to her every day of my life.
I didn't know. She pointed. It was like, yeah, my poly partners.
She's poly partner like number 3. I don't have sex with my friends, but they mean so much to me.
Though, you got to watch his face the whole time.
We have an audience in here, y'all. Yo. I mean, my friends mean so much to me that I travel with them. I make plans with them. They are a part of my relationship. I'm not disowning my plans or what I do with my friends because I'm in a relationship. And so those are relationships that you have to accept. Yeah. And so the idea of possession, I want my man to have friends. I want my man to spend time with his family. I don't want us to believe that we're all we got, because that's not reality. That's unhealthy.
Before this conversation, again, I haven't watched the show, but I watched clips. Before this, I was like, man, their show is really successful because they have a really good topic. They got some amazing personalities. But the more I talk to you, I realize that you are a representation of what people want to be. A lot of people.
Yeah, but I think that also stems into why when I read the comments, there's just as much hate as there is love. I think people are also uncomfortable with me being able to be myself. I actually say that a lot. Leaving my corporate job, I think I'm like the 1% of the blessed, that I literally get paid to be myself. I get paid to show up as myself, to live in my truth. And to me, that's like the greatest blessing, that I don't have to show up with a mask, or I don't have to code switch. You making me code switch right now. But for the most part, I get to literally live life and be myself. And there's not much shame in my past. And what I do at this point, my past is documented. There's shame in the growth. Like I can admit that there's things I did in the past that I'm not the proudest of, but it's because I'm in a different place now. So I can look back and accept that I wouldn't be probably here without going through that. But I love just being able to be myself. My friends know exactly who I am. My partner knows who I am. And the people that I work with know who I am.
Gotcha. Last question on this.
Yeah.
Would you, have you ever dated someone trans, or would you?
No, that's the porn I like to watch, but that's, Yeah, but that's
His face is crazy. Really?
Yeah, but I like men. I like women. I like
You like humans?
viewing it. Yeah, I like humans, but I wouldn't consider myself pansexual. So
What does that mean?
like pansexual is you would date whoever. It doesn't matter their gender, how they identify.
Gotcha.
To me, I like to date biological born and responding men and
Gotcha.
women. Like there's different things I like about both.
Yeah.
So I like the masculinity of one and I like the femininity of the other.
Yeah.
I don't like the confusion for me sexually,
Gotcha.
but I like watching it.
Okay. All right. So
And
terms
if
of
that was a problematic way to say that, please, it wasn't meant that way.
No, that was good, I think.
Yeah, but I know that we're also in a very sensitive society right now.
Yeah.
So I just want to be sure, like, it just wouldn't be my preference to date anyone trans, but I'm definitely attracted to it in porn.
that was a really good answer. Like you covered all bases. Nobody can
Okay.
cancel you for anything you said.
Okay.
That was good.
Okay.
All right. So in terms of which podcast is more successful, I'd say.
I mean, to me, horrible decisions. We broke the mold in a lot of ways. We've been here longer. If we talk network deals, my network deal for See the Thing is drastically bigger. But that has to do with the fact that the content on Horrible Decisions isn't very ad friendly.
Yeah.
So we've had a very difficult time getting ads, getting placement. Like I had a billboard in Times Square for See the Thing is. Horrible Decisions has the word whore in it. So even just the placement in public places, it's just much difficult getting that placement because of the name. When we were on loudspeakers, Chris Morrow actually came to us and said, hey, maybe we should change the name. And I think that's what I really respect more about Charlemagne. He's like, nah, y'all are just black women talking about sex. That's the problem. Because there's another podcast and it's a name, so I am going to use the cuss word, but it's called Guys We Fucked. That was a podcast out at the same time that we started, and it was two white girls talking very much about the same things. They got hella ad dollars. And so it was just like, there's no way it's the name because there's other podcasts with these names. Like, and he actually talks about it in reference to his book. When he was thinking of titles, they wanted to steer away from curse words as well.
Gotcha.
But then one of the largest mental health books is The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, right? So it's literally just, we're trying to really break the mold and the stigma of the fact that it's because we're black women doing the same exact, look what Call Her Daddy got.
Yeah.
$60 million.
60 million.
We didn't get close to that with our deal. So, I think both of them are different. I've been able to tour. We've been touring since 2017 with Horrible Decisions. Wow. We have a lot of other deals. Our Patreon brings in a lot of money. So overall, the streams of revenue for Horrible Decisions definitely outweighs See the Thing Is, but our See the Thing Is deal was 7 figures. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a lot about numbers today because there are
That's
a lot
fine.
of numbers. One, people don't really talk about it. We can see like YouTube, but I'll be wanting to know like, yo, what's your downloads? Okay, like how many, and Earn Your Leisure is very open about it too. Like,
oh, I'm open as hell about numbers. So
okay,
go ahead.
Wonderful.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that's what's messing us up as creatives.
100%.
Like everybody keeps their numbers quiet. They lie about their numbers. They make it seem like they getting something they not. I think if we shared more information amongst each other, when we go into those rooms and when deals are coming to us on the table, then we know what really our leverage is or what is coming out. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I'm fine with being open.
Good. So when you were building out Horrible Decisions, how long before you were able to monetize?
So we started Horrible Decisions. We started thinking about it end of 2016, started top of 2017. So we're 7 years, not 8 years, in our 7th year. So 2017, by December 2017, we had our very first live show that broke even, but that's also when we started Patreon.
Yep.
And then we made no money that whole year. Again, we broke even with the first live show, started Patreon. That was trickling in. That was just paying for our studio time. Then we signed to Loudspeakers Network. And we did a rev share split on just whatever ads they can bring in. So we signed with them non-exclusively.
What was the split?
I think when we started, it was 60-40. And then by year 2, we got to 70-30.
No upfront money though.
No upfront money.
But you weren't making any money from it anyway. So.
No. So it was literally like, I believe we can monetize you. He did a wonderful job. I think within that, so by that second year, we still paying for our own production. He was able to bring in about $100,000 in revenue for the podcast. And by then we also started our first touring. So we were following literally The Read had the model. They were doing live shows. Brilliant Idiots at that time also were doing live shows. And then maybe right after we started touring is when Joe Budden started touring. So we're looking, okay, this is what podcasts are doing. I guess this is what we have to do. So we literally, our first tour, we took our own money.
Right.
We did, I want to say we maybe did 8 cities. We looked at our analytics on YouTube, on our who did we have back then? I think it was actually SoundCloud. Our SoundCloud, we looked at our top cities and I said, okay, Weezy, let's split the work. So she took 4 cities, I took 4 cities, and we literally Googled theater, event space. And literally,
when you say split the work, like, okay, you work on getting a venue.
You work on getting the venue. I'll work on the venue. And so basically we were looking for venues that we could put the money up front. So like say the venue that we got here in Atlanta was $2,500. It sat $180, I believe. And then that's how we knew how to do the numbers. So, okay, let's sell the tickets for $40 to $50 a piece. Meet and greet will add a lift. We got to keep, of course, everything because we sold it through Eventbrite. So after $2,500, everything else is profit. We flew ourselves down here. So we did that for about 8 cities. And so literally we were profiting anywhere from like $4,000 all the way up to like $9,000 a show, busting it right down the middle. Were
you promoting heavily the Patreon? Like, did you pick up people from the live cities on the Patreon?
No, that doesn't really help. But we let patrons know that they could buy tickets first. Gotcha. Like we gave patrons incentives to come to the live shows. Got it. But like, yeah, so we literally we did probably 2 touring rounds like that before WME took us on as clients.
WME?
William Morrison.
Who's that?
Agency, a talent agency.
Okay, gotcha. So
they're who actually puts Joe Budden on tour. We ended up actually having the same touring agent as Joe.
And okay, is the tour like if you have an agent, is the tour based on you promoting on Instagram, or does the agency have some way to fill seats too?
No, so like they'll go to venues. So we have to work our way up to doing larger venues now, but they go straight to Live Nation. So our venues, our shows are now through Live Nation. So Ticketmaster, they do all of that. We have no upfront money. So now when we do a live show, say we'll get like a $25,000 flat fee to perform. And if it sells out, we'll do gross box office sales normally at like 80% and maybe leave with like 28 or 30, whichever one is more.
So they promote it.
They promote it, and of course we promote it. It's our show.
Right. But that's really, really lit. Because, I mean, they're bringing their audience to you, too. And maybe it's some people that
maybe familiar. Through their email list. But to be fair, we sell those tickets. But a lot of it, like, so when we go on tour, it's not, especially for Horrible Decisions, very rarely is it people that's never listened. If you haven't listened, it's because you're being brought by a friend. We sell out those venues.
Do they promote it at all, though?
There's a marketing budget. I don't know really where it goes.
Gotcha.
To be honest. But it's our venue. So like literally our first year, so 2017 in Atlanta, we did a venue for 180. We're going on tour and our venue is 1,200.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're now doing the Fillmores. We're doing like venues. Like literally it's funny because I'm seeing Chloe Bailey's run. We're doing the same venues as Chloe Bailey now, which is amazing. But like even 3 years ago before pandemic, we would be performing and then Rick Ross would be the next night. Like,
incredible.
So, but of course ours are seated, not standing. So it is different in that capacity, but yeah.
So when you started going on tour, so first off, like, okay, when you started going on tour, what was bigger, your YouTube or your audio downloads?
I ain't gonna hold you, because I don't be sorry. People talk hella mess about us based on YouTube. We don't even, it'll be 3 months and we might see $800 on YouTube for horrible decisions. Again, see, the thing is, we bring a couple thousand a month on YouTube, but they don't monetize us on YouTube because of our content.
Sure.
So say y'all see 30,000 downloads. I know academics came after us one
Audio
time.
or video you're talking about?
This is now video.
Gotcha.
So if you look at our YouTube, and like someone like academics who flourishes on video, we don't necessarily do that. So if you go there and be like, how they making money? They're only getting 30,000 views. We're getting almost $250,000 an episode audio.
Are you really?
Yeah, we get 1 million downloads a month. 1 episode a week. Yes. And I know that because we do quarterly reviews with Black Effect. Shout out Black Effect.
Do you have a big back catalog though?
We have a huge, we're in the 300s now with our episodes.
So it wouldn't be necessary when you say.
So it's not, but like, so say we get 180 to 200K on an episode. Yeah, you fill in the back catalog as well, but we're still hitting almost 200K an episode by the 6-week mark.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And what does that spit out monthly?
What do you mean?
Or
like,
do you not,
over 1 million audio.
And then
we're seeing about
financially.
So financially, we have a deal.
Okay.
So
explain how the deal works.
So a deal works just like a music label deal. That's the blueprint that the networks are doing right now. So say you get 250. That's your advance. Now I'm not gonna get really into the numbers. We're on our year 4, so it's more than that.
You did promise you would get into the numbers.
I'll give you the numbers. I'll give you the numbers I'll give you the numbers. They're cute. They're cute. I'll share. They're cute. So say you get 250 out the gate from a network. What people don't realize is that's your money. You still cover your production.
Sure.
Luckily, it's a little different because Weezy and I both own our own studios. So that money still filters back into other businesses. We do not use our studios for free, neither of us. So we charge our business, the businesses, like we still pay to use both of our studios. A little bit of a discounted rate, but we don't use it for free. And then, so we pay the studios to shoot it, and then we normally bust it down halfway. But basically now we owe Black Effect $250 in recoupment. So we don't see any rev share split, any more money until they recoup their $250 within the year. And then we could start seeing a rev split, which I think is at 70-30 or 80-20.
70% your way.
Our way. And that's the thing too. We completely own our show. So basically with the networks right now, we have a licensing agreement. So they're able to sell into our catalog, our back catalog until we leave. Once we're done with our deal, we own everything and get to go on our merry way and bring it to somebody else. Gotcha. Now, for what I hear that they're doing now, these networks ain't really recouping their stuff. So now they want to own. If a podcast wants to go, or even just, hey, I have an idea. I want a network deal first though. Or, hey, this is what I have. Here it is. A lot of them want to own it now.
Okay.
So a lot of people aren't able to get network deals right now and keep ownership.
Gotcha.
Which also that word, child, not everybody's meant to be owners. Not everybody knows what to do when they own something.
This is true.
So to me, I think that there's been this push on this word ownership. But again, I'm someone who, I don't want 100% of nothing if I could have 80 or 70% of something.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And so I think that a lot of people should consider it. If you've been potting for 2 or 3 years and you're turning down offers because of ownership, but you're not making the money, what's the problem? Now, maybe you need partners. Look at it like Shark Tank. There's a reason why people go and want people to invest. And the idea of people investing without getting equity back or getting anything back doesn't make sense.
So your first deal was on Horrible Decisions, correct?
Yes.
Was it $250,000?
No, it was more than that.
More than that?
Yeah.
For how long?
3 years, and each year was around it was close.
3?
Started with a 10% bump each year, and then we actually renegotiated. So now we got even more. We're in a new deal now, and we gave them an extra year. So we're with Black Effect until right now through November of 2024.
Gotcha. So they'll give you the upfront money, and then they do their best to sell ads against your show, and they just keep all the money. At the end of the year, have they ever came back and said, oh, well, we recouped it by August. Now we're doing a split?
Well, the thing is too, we joined them during a startup phase. Like we were one of the first shows started with them. So I think now they're in a great spin of things. I'll be honest, in terms of, again, our show, Black Effect is great with selling ads. They got big old dollars from the State Farms, the Papa John's, the Pepsis. Those 7-figure ad deal companies said, we want nothing to do with horrible decisions.
Oh, wow.
So their sales team actually has to go out and sell into our show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So now they're on a flow. Like our numbers are great, and they're selling great into our show. But that first year was, all right, these big ass companies don't even want to touch your show. And we weren't the only one on Black Effect. They didn't tell us which other one wasn't. But if you look at year one, it was us and another show that a lot of brands didn't feel comfortable being a part of.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So should I join? Should I be on Black Effect?
I love Charlemagne, what he's doing. It's also a network ran by all Black women. They know what they're doing. I'm about to be a part of the Black Effect Festival. They keep us booked and busy. And even the other bookings don't go against our deal. It's really fun. I really love everyone that works over there. And we can come in and say we have ideas. And if they can move some things around to make it happen, they have. So I will say, it's nice.
All right,
I have no issues with being a part of Black Effect. I know there's been a couple podcasts over the last year that have changed and went elsewhere. I'm curious why some of them left, because that's a place I turned down. I didn't like what their contract looked like, but I don't know.
Okay.
You feel me?
I'm not going to ask you the other
I don't know who's getting what, but I was really it was interesting that people left Black Effect to go somewhere else.
Gotcha. So, see, the thing is,
yes,
is that on Black Effect too?
No. When we left the Joe Budden Network, I was adamant that iHeart wouldn't be a place. I didn't want to talk to iHeart or Spotify leaving the Joe Budden Network. I didn't want anything to seem messy. I was like, Spotify will have a bag. They'll always have a bag. Let's revisit them maybe when we get bigger. Maybe our second deal, we can go to them. Gotcha. Didn't want to touch Spotify. Didn't want to touch iHeart. And so when we were leaving Joe, we ended up signing to UTA. So we have an agency as well. And within three months, we signed a deal. We had 6 networks so there was a bidding war for us.
You were running the show, and when you got your first offer, how many downloads were you doing monthly? Do you know?
At the time, like 65K a week.
Okay.
So like 300,000 a month at that time.
What was your first offer?
What was our first offer for? The one we took?
No.
Oh.
The first offer when you were doing 65,000 downloads a week.
We got 6 offers.
Really? What were some of them?
One we completely turned down. That was 250. Everything else was over 4 for 1 year.
So
100.
I actually had a call. Shouts out to UTA because I have a relationship.
They're great.
With them.
They're great.
Yeah, they put me on the phone with someone yesterday.
Okay.
And the deal, it was, I don't know. I'm not taking it, so I can say it.
Okay.
So it was pretty much. They wanted to give me like $50,000 or $75,000 up front, and then 30. And I'm like, I'm telling them what my joint is doing monthly anyway. I'm like,
what are you doing monthly?
Somewhere between 700,000 and a million downloads. But we drop every day. We got a lot of content coming out.
Oh, you're dropping daily.
Yeah.
So I will say monthly, that's great. But I guess you're still, so when advertisers buy into a show, it's still based on CPM. So if you're dropping daily, but you're getting maybe only 10 to 15K per episode, technically your value is really only $250 an ad. So for someone to pay in per show, like per episode, that becomes, unless maybe you can package it as like a month, like a week, so per week. So breaking that down, but then that ad needs to be placed into every episode per day. So that's kind of like what we're having with See the Thing Is, right? Like we now drop 2 episodes a week, but that advertiser is getting to buy into 2 drops plus a little bit of YouTube. Like we coordinated it with that as well. But like, so yeah. So if they're only paying into one episode, let's say $250, that's maybe what they're doing it. Maybe it's more work, which it's not more.
Yeah,
that's a lot more work, right?
Like the same
so
thing, though.
So that's why. So realistically, say they're only looking at selling ads into your show one time a week. Multiply that by 4. If you're only getting that 10 to 15K, realistically, then your numbers are maybe 50,000 for the month, not 700K. Like selling into each episode and packaging like that would be different. So maybe you talk to them and be like, well, I can insert, say you get a water deal. I don't even want to say the name of that company, but say you get a water deal. Now the conversation needs to be, well, okay, this is how much I'm getting across the board, but now I can insert this ad into 5 episodes per week. That needs to be the conversation. Because if they're going to look at it, they're probably still looking at your downloads per episode.
But the only thing is, I don't think I'm on Red Circle now.
Okay.
In terms of like ad reads and CPM, like not CPMs, but RAPs, like just the inserted ads, they're paying me somewhere between 25 and 40,000 a month.
Okay.
So for him to say, yo, I give you 50,000 and a 70-30 split, I don't want the 50,000 and the 70-30. I don't know how many you can sell for that. So
I agree.
I'm not willing to make that move.
And it was an exclusive deal, right? Yeah. Normally you have to go exclusive if you take the advance, but then you could potentially join a company like Gumball, one of the people that I work with, where it's non-exclusivity and you can be with them. You get ads from them. You can get ads from another company. And if you really believe in your show and believe your value, be non-exclusive and just have all of these ad agencies selling into your show.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a deal. I think that's the thing. Everyone was like, ooh, I want a deal. Like my friend over there literally manages one of the top podcasts and they don't have a deal and they bring in hella ad revenue.
Yeah, for sure.
And so if you believe that you can get 25 to 40K from this ad agency and you're non-exclusive, pitch yourself non-exclusive deals and see what these other companies can bring money into it, you ask.
I had a conversation with Revolt too, and it was wild because I think there's like, oh yeah, you come over here, but there's no like guarantee. I need a guarantee. If I'm gonna give up a certain amount of money, I need to know I'll make at least like what I'm making now. But they were their position was, and kind of to your point was, you can come create a show together. We can create a show together, but they will own the IP.
That's what a lot of the podcast networks also want to do right now. That's what I'm saying. They're not buying already conceptualized shows.
Because they weren't getting their money back.
A lot of them weren't getting their money back.
So when you got your 7-figure deal,
yes,
what were your downloads?
I told you.
So around that same time. So they gave you a 7-figure deal and you were doing about 300,000 a month.
But then we agreed to do 2 episodes a month so you can double that.
So you can double it. Got it. Tell them to give me $1 million. Is it a year?
No. So it was 1.2 for 2 years.
Okay. So about $600.
All guaranteed money.
All guaranteed money. You better be a businesswoman out here. So, but I guess what's cool is that we are talking about numbers because nobody knows what they're doing, and there's a lot of people that are going to get taken advantage. I was just on the phone with a guy, and he showed me his number. He's doing like 200-something thousand downloads a month.
Okay.
And he said he hasn't made a dime from his audio.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just because you have the numbers, you just think someone gonna come, hey, let me give you money. No,
I would think so.
You have to go out. You have to go out and network. You have to go out and create a pitch deck. Let people know you have this money. When we first started Horrible Decisions, we were running posts on our Instagram. $50 to play your song at the end. Like, hey, new businesses. Like, and even we were reading ads for our friends' businesses for free.
Right.
And then like, hey, if you guys want us to sponsor your business, here's the email. And literally, we started our first year, we were selling $50 ad slots just to pay for what we were paying in the studio.
Can I get one of them ad slots?
Oh, no, they're gone now. That is definitely not that price no more.
Number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not that price anymore. The price has gone up.
I imagine.
But I mean, that's the thing. I don't know why people think, okay, I have the numbers. Why aren't I making money? Who are you having conversations with?
Yeah.
Who are you getting your show in front of? Like, and that's the thing. If you're getting those numbers, realistically, why has no one hit you up? Are those really your numbers?
You show me a screenshot.
Oh, the way people be fluffing them things. Photoshop is real. If people can move into apartments with fake paycheck stubs and W-2s, they can be out here falsifying their podcast numbers.
I also learned something else too, that even the way some of the companies are calculating your downloads.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing. That's why there's no blueprint to any of this. There's unique downloads. We're now getting numbers from Apple, but if you look at your Apple numbers, what Libsyn is telling you, what Spotify is telling you, all the numbers are different. If you look at Megaphone, if you look at Art19, there's different calculations for numbers, even just through the upload portals. And there's no uniformed system right now. So you can go on SoundCloud, those numbers are different. It's all jumbled. So a lot of them now will look at your numbers across multiple things, find an average. You could also do, what is it, pod chart? No? Okay.
It's all.
But yeah, everyone is
Yo, this is like when people say that podcasting is like oversaturated, that's why it sounds crazy to me, because there's no formula, there's no regulation. I was on a panel and I was explaining that like if you upload a 3-minute song on Spotify, everybody gets paid. The artist, the person who made the beat, the person said record, the person that was in the back that said, hey, in the song, they get paid. Everybody gets paid. But
pennies.
But they get paid though.
Pennies.
But we can upload an hour-long show.
Yes.
And they don't give a dime. Spotify's not going to pay you a dime.
Okay, but of that hour-long pod, the average podcast gets 100 listens. What do you really think you're going to make off of 100 listens? Which is why if you really feel confident in your audience, that's why Apple now is offering subscription. That's why a lot of podcasts are over on Patreon. Like, instead of waiting for a network or a bigwig or a corporation to give you money, believe in your audience to support you. And that's what we did. Our Patreon for a long time paid for us to tour. So if you think you're putting out quality enough content, let's see if the people that even listen to you are willing to support you first. Because then why would a network support you if you don't even have an audience willing to support you?
For sure. But my point is, it might be pennies on Spotify. And even if the average download of a podcast is 100, I would imagine the average download of a song is less than that. But the point is, there's no regulation. I was when I was about to sign up on iHeart, I read the little disclosure, and pretty much it said you can upload your podcast, but we're gonna put ads against your podcast, but we're not gonna pay you for it. But it's illegal in music.
Oh, they do.
They don't pay anything. So what I'm saying is, you have to have someone that says, "Hey, give me your ad, and we'll put it in this show for you to make money." I say all that to say that it's not regulated.
It's not, which is why. And now I don't know really what you do out here, but that's why I be mad as hell when there's these people like, make this much money off of your podcast today. And it's like, how much money you making off your podcast? Right. Like, it's capped. Like, which is why I necessarily won't come out and I can maybe create a master course telling you how to start a podcast. I'll never go and sell a course where I can tell people how to be as successful as me. For one, living in New York has been a cheat code. Being able to partner with the likes of Charlemagne, Joe Budden, Andrew Schultz literally opened for one of our live shows at Caroline's, right? Like the people within our realm have supported us greatly. It's why we've been able to do what we do. And I can't teach somebody how to be me. Like, we have literally a hive of people that support us and travel with us on tour now. Like I said, the money we make from Patreon is well into the 6 figures and supersedes what we make in our network deal. So, yeah, it's really cute. It fluctuates. That's another thing. Patreon, I've talked about, it's really hard to read their analytics too. Really? With who stays, what's active, who's fell off. But it's cute.
I got like 49 people on my joint. You know what I mean? 50 piece.
So you making what, about $100?
It's like 1,000 something. I mean,
you charging like $100?
No, it's $5 and $4. It's between $5 and $40.
Okay.
So, but I need to know. I want to know how to grow the Patreon.
People gotta like you, and people gotta support you. People gotta want to.
Did you just tell me that people don't like me?
I mean,
isn't that what she said? Kinda like, yo, people don't like me.
People may really like.
We just launched it though.
I mean, people may really like your free content, but do they want to hear you excessively? And I'll be honest, if you're posting 5 episodes a week, why I gotta pay to hear more? That's a lot. I'm already listening to you 5 times for free. don't think I need to pay to hear anymore. Like I have podcasts now, to me, dropping 2 episodes a week. I'd be like, y'all listen to me twice a week? How? So if you're giving that much content for free, I don't have to. I would tell you to cut that in half and put half of it behind the paywall. I think you're giving out way too much content.
But like, so for instance, there are people on here right now. They get to see it. They're on our Patreon.
Oh, you do live?
They live stream it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the world won't see this for like another month and a half.
Okay.
Right? But they get to be here. And there's a bunch of little perks in there. I think it'll grow. We just started.
Okay.
How many you got though? How many people or patrons?
We're in the thousands. We're in the thousands.
Thousands?
Just shy of like 3,000.
Okay. Show me how to do that.
Again, I can't because you're not me. Your content isn't the same. You sat here and said you can't even watch because it would affect your relationship or how you view things. I have people who literally are like, you saved my life. You saved my marriage. You saved like my relationship. You helped me open up and be more comfortable with the things I really want to do. I have a real personal connection with my audience. People listen to you probably based off your guests. If no one cares about podcasting, they're not going to tune into my episode. They don't care about me. They don't care. You're a guest-based show. I have people that have grew with me from leaving corporate to growing as an entrepreneur. So I can't teach you how to do that. I have a personal connection with the people that listen to me weekly.
Only half of my show is guest-based. So this is how I release it. I do a Monday episode. Okay. And that's me interviewing somebody. So this is dropping on a Monday. Me and my co-host talk on Thursdays.
Okay.
And then I do a 5-minute Friday. It's just 5 minutes of a short. And then throughout it, we just drop a little bit of content. Okay.
Well, in your listenership, I wonder how many people relate to you. How open are you? What do they get from your show?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what you have to answer yourself. Good. Like, am I connecting with my audience? What are they really getting from me? And why should they spend their money on me? Yeah. Especially, we about to enter a recession. So for someone to really add you as a subscription in their life means a lot. Like, and I don't take any of that for granted. And we let them know that all the time. Good. Like, everyone's having to subscribe to Netflix and all these other shows. Why would they subscribe to you? Why would they give their hard-earned dollars to you? Gotcha. And I think that you gotta answer that.
What do you offer your patrons?
Bonus episodes, BTS content. For Horrible Decisions, we send them a merch piece, an exclusive Patreon merch design every 4th month. Okay. So after 3 months, technically they paid for their merch. So they get about 4 a year. And then when we go on tour, they get the first buys. So like we limit meet and greet. So if it's a city like New York and we only got 50 meet and greets, you're getting first access as a patron to even have access to that ticket. And our venues are seated. So you get to buy whatever seat you want before it goes out to the masses. Kind of like an Amex presale.
Okay. I need to ask this question.
What? In the town halls. Oh, thank you. So both of my shows, once a month, we do a Zoom recorded episode where our patrons get to join in. Oh, dope. So they get to ask us questions live. We have a same outline, so now they feel like they're a part of an episode. They get to hear their voice. So literally once a month, they come in with their merch. We drink with them. It's a 1-hour episode recording with our fans, and we do that once a month on both of my patrons. So like literally also our Discord channel, like again, Horrible Decisions and why it is what it is. People have gotten married from our Discord community. We've been able to see patrons go from being pregnant to their children growing up because of Zoom. We'd be like, dang, that baby got big. But like I said, so it's really like a more personal community that I don't think just any podcast has the ability to really do. Yeah. And again, even with See, the thing is, we're very personal. So my co-host went from being new in her relationship to being engaged to now planning out a wedding. So we share so much of our personal lives that people feel like they can see themselves in us. We're both in our 30s. So we, talk about growing with our partners, with our friends, the things that we're dealing with. And I think that's what I said. I think you have to find a way for your audience even too to relate to you. And maybe you not just be an interviewer, but you become someone that they see in themselves.
Got you. Your one Patreon, does it service both your shows?
No. They're both completely separate entities.
So Patreon is only for a horrible decision.
I have Patreon for horrible decisions. I have a Patreon for See the Thing Is. And I make a good amount of money over there too.
You lit.
Streams.
You lit.
Streams.
Okay.
I think during the pandemic, I realized you can't just depend on one source of income. When we, and this was, I could share numbers because my numbers are way more than that now. But when the pandemic hit, I was making probably about, am I sharing too much, friend? Yeah.
No, okay. She's not sharing too. How could you share too much with our community?
Technically, that was 2019. I'm not making that anymore. Okay. So we were on a tour. We were on a 17-city tour that got cut. So literally pandemic, and this is why I even See the Thing Is came about. I freaked out. I went from making over $30,000 a month to like 8. And I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Because the touring numbers are great. Like we each clear 6 figures just from touring. So when
per year?
Well, when we tour,
gotcha.
If I do anything over maybe 8 cities, anything from 8 to 10 cities, we're both clearing. Yeah.
That's lit.
Each.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I saw like my income damn near be cut by a third, I was like, okay. So during the pandemic, I created a subscription box, official box owner, sold out. I was blessed. That was a gross business. It grossed over 6 figures. I didn't net 6 figures, but I grossed a subscription box company at 6 figures and then started See the Thing Is.
Got it.
And again, even signing under Joe, See the Thing Is didn't make money until we left.
Do you ever get any confusion with the different shows that you're promoting? Do you think your audience gets confused?
I mean, they're very different. My audience knows I'm me. So they know that I'm talking music, I'm talking pop culture and politics on one, and I'm talking straight kink and sex on the other. It was very important for me to make sure that they were 2 completely different shows.
Got it.
I didn't want to confuse anybody. So no, it's just me. Like I said, I could talk about anything. Where
do you think podcast is going over the next couple of years based on what you're seeing?
It changes so much. It could be different in 6 months. I'll be honest, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as the Black creatives, I like to say. Look at what you have. We talk about it all the time. We'll see these white girls getting a 7-figure deal and they in their bed talking on a handheld microphone like, hi guys, I'm back again. And their videos suck. They make them through Instagram Reels and just subtitle it that way. And they're killing. And here we go, full production companies. We're putting out, and I say it all the time, we're putting out a TV show twice a week or once a week with Patreon. Like, we're filming, we have a team. I have like 17 employees between like all my little businesses. Like, we have a team of post-production, which is very expensive. We have video, we have social clips, we have audio. All of that needs to be distributed. Like, we're literally putting out a television show. And so I think that YouTube and video is conflating because there's no way that these networks
What's
have figured,
conflating mean?
Like, what a podcast is. People have YouTube shows and think they have a podcast. It's not the same. Like, that's why, like, when people look at our YouTube numbers and be like, yeah, I don't even got views. All of our views are on audio, baby. Like, that's where our money is coming from as well. Like, podcasting is audio. I think it works to do video for social clips and marketing, but it's even hard. I think me and Weezy just had a conversation with our team and we were like, hey, how can we add hyperlinks? Because people assume our Instagram is a meme page. Some of them don't even know it's a podcast because it's so visual and the things we talking about. I'm like, we're a podcast. You can listen to us wherever you listen to us. You know what I mean? So I think that we're in a place now where people want to do the fancy sets and the couches and make it look pretty, but then your focus is a YouTube channel, not audio. Because let's be very real too. A lot of these YouTube shows, and I ain't even gonna call nobody out, but you got them on your wall. Audio's trash. There's no way I can even listen to them. Like, audio is trash, but the focus, just know when you watch them, their mics be down like this. I'm like, do y'all not care about the goddamn audio? I can't listen to it. It has to be a visual show.
Right.
So I think that because people are putting so much emphasis on their visuals, they're lacking audio quality.
Yeah. This is good game for podcasters.
I think like you want your people to be able to listen to you wherever, right? That's what a podcast is. It's talk radio, essentially is what it is. How do people continuously tune into you if your audio is if it's not good? Sorry.
Good. You're doing so good. Yeah, I believe, and I've been telling everybody this, and I want to know your thoughts. I think everyone should have a podcast.
Hell no.
Why not?
No.
I can defend this.
Not against me?
I can.
Okay. Should everyone have the right to talk? Yes. Should everyone have the right to have their own opinion? Yes. Does it necessarily need to be shared with the masses? And is everyone ready to run and operate a podcast for what it takes? No. I think a lot of people lack consistency, which is what a podcast takes. I also think that a lot of people are misinformed and don't care that they're misinformed. So I think it's dangerous. I think it's what we're seeing now with what's been skewed. It's literally affecting how people are showing up in their relationships. It's affecting our views on what's happening with politics and what's happening in the world.
Do you think the podcast is doing that?
A lot of
or social media in general.
Which is still why, if you see how bad social media is, imagine all them bots with a podcast now.
The bots are gonna have
the bots. The bots are still people just with fake pages. I don't think everyone needs a podcast. I mean, I talk about it all the time too. I don't think everyone. I said, when people say I want to make a podcast, my first question is why. If your first answer is to make a lot of money, don't do it. Do you have something to say? Do you have a reason? Do you have a purpose? Is this just a hobby? Like, do you have a business to promote? Are you hoping to use this as a marketing platform to leverage something else? But why? And if you want to make a podcast for money, don't even start it.
I agree with that. However, I do think I just have this vision in my head that one day podcasts will be as prevalent as people who have an Instagram. So everybody has an Instagram. Everybody, like if you talk to somebody, should you have an Instagram? The answer is typically a yes, right? Because that's where people are. But I think everyone needs a podcast. One, to
needs?
Be. I mean, I'm far right on it.
See what these people on here saying.
But would you say that everyone needs a social media? Of course. You'd say everybody needs social media.
I disagree.
I mean, for the most part, everybody's on social media.
Everybody does not need to promote what they're doing in their personal lives to the masses.
But not even promoting.
But everyone doesn't have to take a picture and make it public.
True.
Like, so I disagree with even the social media. Like older people that I know, I ain't gonna say who, but like I have someone in my life who doesn't have social media. He's comfortable with his family, his work life. He doesn't feel like he has to promote or tell the world or tell the world what he's doing every day. I don't think everyone needs a social media.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have it? Do you want to share what you're doing? Do you have a business to promote? Is it a part of your work? Yeah. Other than that, I don't think everyone needs a social media.
So I think social media is dangerous. And I'm not saying there's no everyone for like every, you know what I mean? Like when I say everyone, I'm not talking about every human in the world. I'm saying
that's what everyone culture, means.
I understand.
I'm gonna need you
not
to say
really.
Some people, most people. Because real quick, when I come on my podcast and I say, yeah, all men, that means all men. And then that word all means something. If you say everyone, it means everyone. And that's not the case.
You actually said 99.8% of men aren't monogamous.
And guess what? I ain't pretty much a statistician, a mathematician. I'm just being petty, but it's a lot. That's what I meant by that. But there was still a 0.02% that excluded people.
But this is me waving my podcast flag because I think it's the best way to learn how to continue to communicate your idea. And it's some sort of mechanism to keep you consistent. Like if you can figure out how to podcast, you can be consistent, you learn how to communicate, and you drive deeper on information. Second, all the people that starting podcasts, I'm telling people they need to start a podcast so they can learn how to start a podcast so they can somehow monetize helping someone else in their media field. I think it's a great business model to start because if you know how to start a podcast.
A whole lot of nothing. I ain't gonna hold you.
How?
I think they should start a podcast so they know how to start a podcast to teach other people how to start a podcast. Again, you're now, because someone started a podcast doesn't mean that they're a teacher and have the time or patience or wherewithal to break down what they just did to teach somebody else.
Not everyone knows.
I have a podcast. My friend helps launch podcasts. Yes. Like, I don't think.
Great business?
Amazing business.
It's a great business.
But it's a
great business. Exactly. So it's a great business. It's so many people that you have to turn it down. Now, again, I do feel like a lot of people, I won't say everybody, a lot of people should have real estate, right? Because it's an asset that you own, right?
Yes.
But I mean, not everyone's going to go into that field, but it's a good idea. So what I'm saying is, if we see, if computers were just now starting to get big, you would say, yo, everybody needs to learn how to code. Everybody needs to learn how to type. Everybody needs to learn computers, because this thing is coming where everyone's going to need you, that particular person.
Home ownership, basically, if you're using the home ownership as an analogy, everyone should have a phone. It's not that everyone should start a podcast. Starting a podcast is essentially a business. Back to it, I don't think everybody is a business owner. Not everybody's a leader. A lot of people, a ton of people, need to be told what to do. A lot of people are fine being soldiers. Not everybody are captains or lieutenants. And a lot of people are just fine being told what to do. I have employees that, the word initiative, Jesus Christ. Some people need to be told what to do, otherwise it won't be done. What? I fired her. So I'm not talking about my team now, but I love firing people. I won't fire my team now. I love y'all.
Until they do
but
something.
There's been people over time that literally won't do something unless you tell them to. So a podcast is a self-starting, something that you need to do on your own. Sorry, I know my friend is so, listen, I'm gonna let them know this is coming out. But it's a self-starting thing. A lot of people aren't self-starters. That's just the reality of life and human beings. So you thinking that everyone should be business owners or entrepreneurs or self-starters.
I don't see it as that, though.
And that's fine that you don't see it as that.
I see it as an outlet. At what point?
Not everyone even has a therapist. That's an outlet. Their partners are outlets. Their kids are outlets. Their little journals that they write in are outlets. A podcast isn't for everybody. And I go against, in front of you, anybody who believes that.
I believe that.
And guess what? People believe in Christianity, Buddhism. You can believe in what you want to believe in.
Right.
I will gladly agree to disagree.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So just out that example of a religion, someone who is in a religion or a belief, someone that's a devout Muslim, they probably believe that everyone should have some sort of structure like that. If you don't believe that your religion, if you believe in that true God, I'm sure if you have that belief, you'll tell people this is what you should believe.
You're getting deeper.
This is what I think.
But belief has more to do with faith and giving us a reason and purpose to even exist.
Right.
That's why there's heaven and hell.
True.
I'm here trying to do the right things. Why? So I can end up in heaven. I think that a lot of people need faith in their lives, which is why we have belief systems.
Yes. Correct. Right. But that's why I'm saying this is me waving my flag, because I've seen not for the entrepreneurial element of it.
Right.
But I've seen so many people get an opportunity, whether it's writing in a journal or a podcast, being able to get out what's in your head or on your heart. Getting it out, it's been therapeutic, one for me and a whole bunch of other people I saw. So even if they're not doing it for the stats and the money and the views and the downloads, I think it's a good outlet to be able to share your thoughts and maybe share it with somebody else. It's not about building it, but I think everybody needs to practice hearing their own voice. That's just me.
Okay.
Personally.
So then maybe get a tape recorder and play it back to yourself at night, because that's the truth about the fact too. Do you know how many people are like, oh my God, I could never do what you do. I could never share all those things. So the reality of the fact that a lot more people are private than public.
Yeah.
There's a lot more private people than public figures even.
True.
Not everyone wants to be a celebrity. Not everyone wants to be known. Not everyone wants the things that they would like to vent about in a public setting, which is why I don't believe everyone needs a podcast. Because again, there's more people that are private. These people in the room that may or may have not been in front of a mic, they probably don't want to come here and share their thoughts.
For sure.
A lot of people are uncomfortable with their thoughts being public or scrutinized, or the fact that other people can now have opinions on them. A lot of people aren't emotionally built for that.
Yeah.
And so that's why
I agree.
I don't believe everyone needs a podcast.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation.
That has been my TED Talk.
Give a round of applause for this. I like that. And I always appreciate someone who can share their thoughts, right, and not be afraid to say, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, and I'm also not sitting here trying to change your mind.
For sure.
Because you're going to get on another podcast and say, I believe everybody needs a podcast.
100%.
And so I'm glad that we could agree to disagree. I'm never going to convince you. But from my point, I don't think so. And, I love that we could just have that conversation.
You are so dope. How did you get like this? How did you get to
my mama? Point? You got to meet Miss Tammy. That's why she love me.
Tell me about Miss Tammy.
You got to meet Miss Tammy. Just a white woman from Florida. That cooks the best oxtail I've never had in my life. And she created me with a Jamaican man on a green card. And here I am. Yeah.
Were you always opinionated? Were you always comfortable sharing who you are? Always.
Oh, always. Oh, the way I used to get kicked out of class. Especially in high school. I pay this phone bill. You better not tell me to get off my phone. I'm going to get A's. I'm going to do what I need to do. I remember even my mama, when I was 15, my first job was Quiznos. And even though this guy was older than me, he was talking to me crazy. I said, sir, I make more money than you because I know the sandwiches. And you not going to talk to me any which way just because I'm younger than you. I was crazy. But no, I've always been this.
Is it possible for you to teach someone that?
No. And I wouldn't. Why would I want someone to be me?
No, not you. Not how to be you, but to be the type of person who is comfortable in their own skin.
Again, I think that's why the Whore Hive, my listeners, find like they support me in all things that I do, because a lot of them have been able to accept who they are. Yeah. I still think a lot of people are uncomfortable with sitting with themselves or accepting their faults, or I'm someone that has sat in a lot of decisions that I made that I regret, or not even just regret, but have learned from, and I've just accepted who I am. I think I hold very near and dear my friendships. I think that speaks volume of the person that I am. I love people. And so if I love being around people, I want to show up as the best version of myself. And if I'm on a mic, technically I'm sitting with 1 million people a month minimum. I want to make sure I like who I am. Yeah. And so I think that's what I would tell someone. Do you like the person that you are? Do you like yourself? Yeah. Because ain't nobody else going to like you, and you're not going to be that dope if you don't even like yourself.
Yeah. So you've never struggled with that. That's interesting.
No. I mean, I've struggled with body image. I've struggled with maybe valuing myself with men. Like things like that veer more towards what I think people's perception of me is. But I think I'm pretty dope. Good. Pretty funny.
I was seeing it, and you already talked about it.
I'm hardworking.
So I'm not like bringing it up for like clickbait, but I know you said that you and one of your co-hosts, you guys aren't friends at all. You just are good.
I mean, co-hosts. And like I said, we're in such a healthy space now, but if you go to episode 54, we did therapy live, yelled at each other, cried, really? And we make jokes often. Like, again, people know, they follow us, they see that we don't hang out outside of the podcast. We show up, and I think anytime that we've gotten to a breaking point where we're like, F this, we both have come back and been like, you know what, this show is bigger than both of us. Yeah. Let's step out of our egos real quick. Let's step out of what this friendship or what we're upset about. Take a breather and come back. And again, this show, I think when we go on the road and we meet our fans and we get pictures taken of us, we know that it's above us. Like, there's a purpose now for me to do what I do.
Only positive answer.
Okay.
What did you learn from the experience of being on your previous network? Only good stuff. Okay.
A takeaway from that experience would be, don't do business with friends. Yeah. Don't hold a friend's verbal promises as Bible. I think that when you take a job, right, you sign up, you do the paperwork, you know what I mean? You know what you're getting, you know your roles, you know your splits, you know all that. I think when you get into a business, just know a lawyer needs to be there, a contract needs to be drawn up, and you need to approach it as a business and not just friends building one. Because a business is if the foundation isn't there, you're not really going to be able to build as high as you think you're going to be able to build. And so I've learned that, like, going into businesses now. And also, I ain't going to hold you, I love my friend right here. We thought we wanted to do a business. one will suffer. If you do business with a friend, you will either lose the friendship or you'll lose the business. You won't be able to maintain both for
Y'all
very
just
long.
decide not to do the business?
Oh, we'll never do business. We like talked about it, and it was like, girl, we do business differently. But
Do business every day,
just not legally together. And I think because I love this girl so much, after that relationship, even we've said, we was like, oh girl, no. Because I don't want to lose this person as a friend. So if you're getting into business with a friend, if your business really explodes and does well, your friendship will suffer.
I don't know, man.
Okay, you cannot know. Experience it. Guaranteed.
That's just as bold as me saying everyone needs a podcast.
No, guaranteed. Your expectations of someone in business goes far beyond maybe your expectations of someone as a friend. It's hard not to take things personal if someone doesn't show up in your business, because you're like, but you're my friend. How are you not showing up in this way? And so you conflate what's personal and what's business. And there's no way to not take things personal if you really have a personal friendship with somebody. Absolutely.
EYL, they have a really, really tight-knit group, and all of them grew up together, and they were all friends, and they're doing well.
Okay. I guarantee their friendships have also changed and shifted with their business growing. Maybe they don't go over each other's house as much anymore. Maybe they don't hang out as personal, because now every time we hang out, we're doing business. The stress of maintaining a business is going to affect the foundation of a relationship.
I think that's just the growth of anything. Like my best friend, we don't hang out as much. We try to get together, a couple of times a month, but we don't do business together. It's just we're growing in two different areas. So it's not the business that put a strain because we don't do business together.
My point. So if you have a friendship, even with a strong foundation, and now you put another element that is going to cause a strain, a business is a strain because you may both have different ideas. You have to agree to disagree. There's money involved. Now there's teammates involved. Now, okay, well, if this is 50-50, are we doing 50% of the work? Is there resentment being built up because I don't feel like you're showing up as I'm showing up? Like, it's inevitable. And if you don't believe me, look back at all of the groups. Look at all the 90s groups, the girl bands, the boy bands, the duos. Yeah. They went separately because so it's not even just, look at all the podcasts that done broke up. Like, let's be serious. There's a human element of ego that is involved overall. And let's be fair, as hardworking as she is, as hardworking as I am, we don't work the same. The same way we sat and started this podcast and said there's no blueprint to doing it, Charlemagne has a very successful way in which he got it going. It's different than Andrew Schultz, which is different than Joe Budden, which is different than Nori and EYL. Everyone has all these different ways of doing something, yet they all still are successful. Yeah. But not everyone is even though they're successful, that's another way to even, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, success is subjective at the same time.
The failure rate of a business with friends versus just starting off as business partners is like, do you think it's more businesses break up with friends? I don't know, man.
Absolutely.
I don't know about that. And maybe not, okay, I'm not even gonna say that.
How many times? And let's get out of podcasting. How many times? Because I can remember back in the day, you put a friend onto a job and they embarrassed you because they were showing up late. They got fired. That's your reputation. Just because you put them onto a job. How many times has a friend maybe not shown up for a job the way you would have liked to, because that's a representation of you, right? Even in the regular field, I was working in retail. Got people jobs and they embarrassed me because their work ethic wasn't the same. So as a friend, you just thinking it's a job, but no, you making me look bad.
Yeah. So I tried to give my friend a job one time. He shows up in a t-shirt.
See what I mean?
With a baggy collar. So maybe it's different because after he didn't get the job, I went home and I roasted him. It was actually made us tighter. Like, why would you do that? It was a teaching moment. So I didn't, maybe the expectations, and I don't know, maybe it's different guys, maybe we have different experiences, but I think it's less of, my co-host Donnie is my best friend, and we've had to learn how to work together.
I ain't gonna hold you. Now. Your expectation from a friend with a business that is making a couple $100 is different from your expectations with a friend when your business is worth 7 figures or 6 figures. Your expectations grow as your business is valued and worth more and can go more. You're going to have different expectations. The fact that you just put them onto a job and you roasted them over wearing a t-shirt. Now imagine if y'all have equity in a business and now they're not showing up, but yet they expect to get their money.
I can understand how that would be a strain.
Yeah.
But every now and again, there are two people that work well together. That's like saying you shouldn't get married because most people get... For sure, but
you can look at marriages that way. They work well together. I'm not saying that
100%.
they're not ever going to work well together. Me and Bridget, we work well together. Me and Weezy now, we work better now. We work better together than we have a personal relationship, if that makes sense. But you can always work well with somebody. I'm not saying that. There's people that can work well together. But again, back to having a business and a friendship, one of those relationships are not gonna flourish.
So if you do go into a business relationship with your friend, what is some advice you can give to somebody?
Don't. Sorry.
Not just...
I just told you, don't. And if you think it's gonna work, be willing to lose that friend.
Yeah.
If that business succeeds, be willing to not have that same relationship with your friend.
You have very strong opinions. That's why through this conversation, I'm loving you more and more.
Thank you.
Because you're not wavering.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't sit in front of mics. This ain't a debate.
Yeah.
I am who I am. I believe what I believe. And one conversation with you isn't gonna change my mind. So again, I can accept that you think it'll work. Your belief system is way different than mine. But I'm fine with you believing what you believe.
Yeah.
My advice would be don't.
That's good.
That's it.
Okay. Last thing. How do we grow a podcast? How would
Now,
you advise
there ain't no guy. Sorry.
There's a way.
You frustrating me with these questions. Be consistent. That's the number one thing I say.
Come on, you got more than that,
literally,
man.
no. People assume that they could even have a season. Yeah, I'm gonna start this podcast. We're gonna do like 12 episodes, then take a break, and then we'll be right back. Like, by the time you stop your podcast, even if for a week, attention span, they done found another podcast 100%. In your spot.
100%.
And then maybe they forgot they even like listening to you. Mm-hmm. It's consistency. I remember me and Weezy talked about it. We didn't take a break for 3 years as far as release.
Yeah.
We didn't take a break. Don't take a break. Because now your audience don't trust you.
For sure.
Even if they don't like you, they got to be able to trust you, right?
Of course.
So I could trust that you're going to drop a podcast every Monday.
If not, it breaks trust, for sure.
And then it breaks trust. And once I don't trust you, let me go find somebody I trust who going to rock with me while I'm at work. Because I need something to get me out of the job that I have. Yeah. I want to be entertained. And if you can't do it, somebody else will.
Yes. Give me something else other than consistency.
That's what I tell married people all the time. Whatever you ain't doing at the house, somebody else will.
Give me another piece of growing a podcast. You have a recipe. You have a sauce. You don't just because you cool and
I got
cute.
the sauce, player. I am the sauce. Like I told you, I show up as consistent. Mm-hmm. I show up as myself. I structure the hell out of my show and I bring my experience. And I just hope the people that listen enjoy it. Mm-hmm. You see, I hope they enjoy it. They ain't even got to like me. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you love me. You actually probably hate me. A lot of the people that listen to me weekly don't even like me. And I'm fine with that, but I hope I entertain you. Mm-hmm. In terms of growing a podcast, like I could tell you how to start one. Growing, you market it. You post on your Instagram. You make videos. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how to grow it. Do people care about what you have to say? It's just that simple. And like I said, it doesn't even matter the topic. You could have a book club podcast. If I'm reading a book, maybe I want to hear other people that are reading the book. Yeah. I have a sex podcast. Not everybody wants to listen to that. Dungeons and Dragons is probably the most popular podcast. D&D podcast is probably the most highest paid on Patreon. I think they make like $500,000 a month or something stupid. Maybe more than that.
Sheesh.
It's on Dungeons and Dragons. and stuff that I'm not interested in. But just because I'm not interested in doesn't mean that they're not killing over there. True crime. I don't care about every true crime, but I love the Adnan Syed story. You know what I mean? So that's serial. That got me into that. So I just think putting something out, being consistent and hoping that people like what you're putting out and continuously putting it out it's how you grow a podcast.
Good. Okay, this is my really last question. Because I asked the question
See,
earlier.
now I don't trust you. You be lying. You just said I had the last question for you. Now.
Okay, one of my last questions. What is one thing, a positive? Because even in the positive you gave the positive out of the negative. Like, yo.
That's what.
Give me something that you've learned from the person that was on the network that you were a part of. Give me one thing that you learned. Positive only.
People like a villain. It's
That's
okay
what
for
you
people
learned?
to, yeah. Like, okay, you know what I've learned?
What's that?
That everyone has a different truth. And so even listening to people, your experience, and what you say on this mic is your truth. Is it the truth? No. I think a lot of people hang on to people's words. People change.
Yeah.
Thoughts change. And just things change. And not only to be okay with change, but everyone has their own truth.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, you can be cool with life. That everyone lives in their own reality. Not everyone sees things or views things the way that you do. There's no right or wrong every time. I know we would like that. I know we could either go left or we can go right, but there's not always a right or wrong. Just because we are all so different in the way that we do things. Sure. So, like I said, being in a place where, mind you, I signed my deal with Charlemagne 1 month before launching and being a part of the Joe Budden Network. So I got to see these two masterminds in this field and how they conduct business. Yeah. It's different. Neither one of them is wrong, and I can't say neither one of them is right. I know maybe who I'm more leaning towards. You could see who I'm still signed with, but I can't sit here and say that how he's operating his business and what he does is wrong. Yeah. It just may not have been for me. And I think that, again, in business, you assume that you're going to agree on things, or maybe this person that has more expertise, he's going to lead me away. And I just think that everyone has their own way of doing something.
What'd you learn from Charlemagne?
Ooh. A lot. I think he's one of those two that it's okay to be the villain. I think that, you know, you don't have to go into this place and hope everyone likes you. That would drive your mental health crazy, right? Seeing a therapist, that was a lot of him. And I think when I asked him, I remember I asked him one day, how the hell do you do everything you do? And I think I told her, he was like, oh, because I got a team. At one point, I thought I could do everything. I was editing audio for Horrible. I was figuring out how to edit video. I was doing the description, the title, and I was burning out. And he was like, oh, I can do all this because I have a team that I trust. I can't do everything. This person does this. This person does this. And so knowing that you need a team for stuff. It doesn't matter how dope or how well you work or how hard you work. You can't do it all yourself. And him telling me that, like, all I look in, I could see what my deal is, but I'm like, nope, I got to pay this person. I got to pay this person. I got to hire for this. And I'm okay now paying more money so that I can have sanity in the things I do. And he taught me that.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
This was really, really good.
Thank you.
This was like probably... this is one of my favorite
tell everybody, don't say that.
No.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, I don't believe you.
No, this is one of my favorite conversations I've had, not even in a podcast, like just period, like all year.
I appreciate it.
Really good.
And then I will say I appreciate you were able to let me sit here, even though you asked me to code switch in the beginning. However people assume I am, when I normally get in a room and get to talk to people, like this was a great conversation, they're like, ooh, you're nothing like I thought you were. And I think that the more I'm able to have conversations like this and meet people, I think you get to know that you can't judge a book by the cover. Yeah, for sure. So I appreciate you for having me.
And you're a big deal. Did you do any research, or did you ask people like, yo, is this guy's podcast okay to be on? Did you do any of that?
Your clips were cute. So I was like, oh, he talks business. Okay. I ain't even gonna hold you. I asked Carla about you, but I thought your output was good. I thought the way you edit was great. Like, so to me, it looks like you take it serious. Yeah. I mean, I was on Earn Your Leisure episode 30, recorded out of Troy's living room. Yeah. And now look what they're doing. So to me, I want to give back. If I can create and give you some more views or create good content or any sort of relationship moving forward, I will. Like, I think that this is a great space to be, and anyone Black owning their own things and really pushing the needle, I respect. So I felt like you were definitely pushing the needle, and you're doing great by it. So I said, of course, I'll pull up.
Thank you. What did she say about me?
We'll talk off air.
Just tell me. It's
We'll talk
okay.
off air.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
No, just that I think you asked for advice on something years ago by the pandemic, something, and then you took the advice and started doing it. So it wasn't nothing bad, but she didn't really have a relationship. I don't think y'all ever met, right?
You gave me some advice?
No. She said she met you at a panel. The panel that I couldn't remember, the one in Miami, the Black podcasting thing, because we were talking about Miami. That's where he said he met you. Were the panelists hosting it. You were the moderator, right? Or he was on it. You were on a panel with her.
Oh yeah, so I put that on. That was my conference. Yes.
Oh, so that's the same.
Yeah.
With
me and Drew.
she knows then you're partner for that. Yeah. So that's it. But she said she went there through Drew, not you.
Gotcha. Okay.
But really just that you're like this podcast mogul that thinks everybody needs a podcast. And everybody doesn't.
For
and everybody doesn't. But just that you were like, I think you're more in line with what she does than what I do.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I end this every podcast with the same question.
Another one?
This is the last one.
You be lying. Y'all trust this man? Because I don't.
You know, a pastor got like 3 closings, so it's like
this is giving Black Pastor Church.
This is the close for real. So it's gonna sound generic in the beginning, but there's a reason for it. So I want to know.
I can't tell nobody how to grow a podcast.
No.
Okay.
I want to know what you see yourself accomplishing in the next 5 years. And the only reason I'm asking is, I want to be able to watch this 5 years from today and say, yo, Mandii said she was going to do that 5 years ago.
You're going to see it. I think it's important, even if you don't have mentors, that you have markers or people to look up to and be like, even if you can't be exactly them, you know kind of where you want. I say it on calls with everybody. I want deals and the respect like a Issa Rae. So she got a $40 million deal to create content. I would love to know that someone has that much trust and belief in me, that what I'm doing is not just because I'm in front of the camera, but that I produce an EP and create everything that I'm a part of. So from television to more pods, maybe a network, I don't know. In 5 years, I'm going to be a lot more wealthy than I am. I would hope so, and hopefully work less. I work very hard for everything that I do. Nothing is handed to me. I bust my ass. But 5 years from now, I would like to be a name in this space and garner the respect of Issa Rae.
Good. I love it. Listen, we can't close it out no better than that. Please let everybody know how to find you and how they can connect with you, and end this off with a word of wisdom.
You done asked me to do.
That's not a question.
All right. It was a statement. You can listen to me every Monday. It's Horrible Decisions. Type in horror, we pop up. And every Tuesday and Friday, See the Thing Is podcast with my co-host Bridget Kelly. Horrible Decisions. My co-host is Weezy WTF. You can find us on Patreon for both shows. And if you are in New York and want to start a podcast, because he believes everyone should have one, you can check out fullcourtstudio.com and book your time at Full Court Studios, located in East Williamsburg, Bushwick, Brooklyn. And then you can follow me everywhere at Full Court Pumps.
Close out with a word of wisdom.
Word of wisdom. Don't start a business with your friends.
Can't close it out no better than that. Make sure y'all follow Mandii and all that she's doing, okay? And also go get you some social proof, meaning go build something big, but it's important that you come back to your community to teach them how you did what you did. It's the only way our community grows, okay? Like, subscribe, we out. Good job. If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're gonna like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.